Let's try this one last time. I'm live. Everything's cool. It's peachy keen, and I got a notification. Okay. So now I've done my due diligence. Now I've done my due diligence. People know that I'm streaming. Now we'll wait approximately 2 minutes. I'll get into my pre-read stream discussion, and then we'll start the read stream. We will get to page 172. At least I'm pretty sure that's what Bonnie said. Let me go check this image to see like what we're reading. Make sure we're reading to the right pages today. Where is it? There it is. Yeah, Bonnie told me to read to 172, so that's what we're gonna be doing today. Because currently I'm on page 118, so we got it. We gonna make it to 172 today. Might have to read by myself, but it's okay. You guys will be able to catch up. This read stream will stay up because I have no reason to take it down. And if you can hear that vacuuming in the background, please use that. Yo, Jackson Andrews, very, very new person, I think. I don't think I've seen you before. Welcome into the stream. First time viewer. There are usually more people in here, but I think it's just you right now. But I appreciate you nonetheless. It's nice having you. In about 8 seconds, I'm going to start my pre-read stream discussion. Because, especially with 2 minutes. Okay. So last time, we read our first Leo chapters. We got some more Jason and Piper in, and we learned a lot about the curse of Hephaestus Capon that was brought about by Beckendorf's death. That was interesting and really cool. Leo is a very special Hephaestus who probably killed his mom. Ray, hello, nice to see you. I'm pretty sure I've seen you before. Let me know if I'm getting that wrong. But welcome into the stream. It's nice to have you regardless. But Leo is a very special Hephaestus who I'm pretty sure burned down his mom's house and killed her with his fire powers. Jason. You know, some interesting things about Jason, about how he's more tied to the Romans, which we kind of already guessed because of how much he was talking about Roman mythology. And also just some really cool things about like who he might be, that I forget exactly what it was, but it was really interesting and it made all the characters seem really cool. So I'm probably equally interested in all of them right now. Maybe slightly more to Leo and Piper, but still I think they're all really good so far. And then we read one Piper chapter. I don't exactly remember what it was. I feel like I should remember this because it wasn't that long ago that I did this. I usually have more stuff to say, but I think it's just because my chat's a bit more empty because I decided to just stream a lot earlier than I usually do. So this is a good sign not to do this again. But we might get through a lot of the reading faster simply because of the fact that there's nobody here to talk to. But yeah, appreciate whoever is here. It's nice to have you. Do I have any more pre-read thoughts to talk about? I hope we get started on the quest this one. Because I titled this stream, I Smell a Quest, and I really want to get started on the quest. We've had a lot of chapters doing the setup, and the setup I think is really cool. It's really great. It's a lot better, I think. The setup is a lot better than all of the previous books combined, because all the characters have interesting motivations and mysteries and backgrounds that will get revealed assuming throughout the course of this book. And I don't really know what the quest is going to be yet, other than finding Percy, right? Or how it's going to work, or if we are going to go on a traditional quest like we have been in the first book, because it feels like they're setting up something slightly different. So I don't even know if we are going to go on a traditional quest. Like, how is this going to work, finding Percy? Honestly, I assumed that there would be no like traditional questing in this one, and it was just going to be kind of like, oh, let's go, and they were just going to be on their own self-made missions, these demigods. But I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. But we will just have to see. other than that, yeah, I don't think I have any pre-read thoughts today. Let me put this my little shitty graphic up. Oh god, it's not up. Crap. Nope, that's the music. Nope, that's the me. Ah, there it is. Boom. Shitty graphic. Now everybody knows that it's read stream time. I'm assuming that I try to do this every single time so people know that they can skip the preamble and come to here when the shitty graphic is up. That means it's shitty on time. But yeah, let's get started. This is probably gonna be a shorter one because we don't have that many chapters to read today until we stop at 172, the goal we've been trying to get through for the past 3 streams. So let's kick it off with what is this one? This is Piper 10. Piper 10. Let's go. The whole oh yes, oh right, we're gonna get Piper. Godly parent. I'm pulling for Aphrodite. I feel like they're gonna fuck me over though, and I'm gonna be so mad. But I'm pulling for Aphrodite. The whole campfire idea had Piper freaked. YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. As such, viewers will experience extreme buffering. I don't agree with that, YouTube. I'm not a big fan of it. Stop making my viewers experience extreme buffering. The whole campfire idea freaked Piper out. It made her think of that huge purple bonfire in the dreams and her father tied to a stake. What she got instead was almost as terrifying. A sing-along. I love sing-alongs. The amphitheater steps were carved into the side of a hill facing a stone-lined fire pit. 50 or 60 kids filled the rows, clustered into groups under various banners. Piper spotted Jason in the front, next to Annabeth. Leo was nearby, sitting with a bunch of burly-looking campers under a steel-gray banner. The Hephaestus kids, Hephaestus! And blazing with the hammer. Standing in front of her, half a dozen campers with guitars and strange old-fashioned harps, lyres. Lyres? Oh, that's what it's. Harps, lyre? Yeah, that's a question. Which she doesn't know. We're jumping around, leading a song about a piece of armor. Something about how their grandma got dressed for war. Everybody was singing with them and making gestures for the pieces of armor and joking around. It was quite possibly the weirdest thing Piper had ever seen. One of those campfire songs that would have been completely embarrassing in daylight. But in the dark, with everybody participating, it was kind of corny and fun. As the energy level got higher, the flames did too. Oh yes, I remember this. Turning from red to orange to gold. The whole thing about how the campfire responds to like your inner whatever. Turning from red to orange to gold. Finally, the song ended with a lot of rowdy applause and a guy on a horse. Buddy, haha, you're late. Haha, I tricked you. Happy Friday, happy Thanksgiving, Bonnie. Welcome in the best holiday stream for Thanksgiving, almost, because I had to eat yesterday, so I did not stream. I'm sure you had to eat too, unless you don't live in America, but I assume you do. But I tricked you, Bonnie. You're late this time. I'm early. Anyways, what was I? I hosted 30 family members yesterday. That is... Actually, that's not a lot. It's not bad. I've had bigger Thanksgiving parties. But that is still a decent amount. That's a big amount. Was it fun though? Was it a good time? Where was I? Let me read this. Finally, the song ended with a lot of rowdy applause. A guy on a horse trotted up, at least in a flickering light. Piper thought it was a guy on a horse. Then she realized it was a centaur. His bottom half a white oh, she's seeing kind for the first time. His top half a middle-aged guy with curly hair and a trimmed beard. It was exhausting. Yeah, I bet. I hear hosting parties is not fun. Well, I've hosted parties technically, because like my mom did, and it was her house, but it wasn't me, and I didn't have to do anything, so it wasn't that tiring. Was the food good though? That is the real question. Centaur, trimmed beard. He brandished a spear and peddled toasted marshmallows. Very nice. And a special Welcome to our new arrivals. Oh, wait, this is Kyron talking. Very nice, and a special welcome to our new arrivals. I am Kyron, Camp Activities Director, and I'm happy you have all arrived here alive, with most of your limbs attached. This is like the Dumbledore welcome back to Hogwarts for another year thing. In a moment, I promise we'll get to the s'mores, but first, what about capture the flag? Somebody, yes, are we gonna do capture the flag again? I've missed capture the flag. Somebody yelled. Grumbling, because we didn't do it in last Olympian, obviously, so I've been waiting for another one. Grumbling broke out among some kids in armor, sitting under a red banner with the emblem of a boar's head. Yes, the centaur said, I know the Ares Cabin is anxious to return to the woods for our regular games and kill people. One of them shouted. I love Ares Cabin. Please tell me Clarice is here. We haven't mentioned anything about Clarice. If she has to be here, right? And Vestala. However, Chiron said, until the dragon is brought under control, that won't be possible. Cabin 9, anything to report on that? He turned to Leo's group. Leo winked at Piper and shot her with a finger gun. The girl next to him stood uncomfortably. She wore an army jacket, a lot like Leo's, with her hair covered in a red bandana. We're working on it. More grumbling. How, Nissa? An Ares kid demanded. Really hard, the girl said. Nissa sat down to a lot of yelling and complaining, which caused the fire to sputter chaotically. Chiron stamped his foot against the fire pit stones. And the campers fell silent. Stream burps, they never stop. So I'm drinking soda this time. They're gonna be a lot worse. I literally only burp on stream. This is just crazy. We'll have to be patient, Chiron said. In the meantime, we have more pressing matters to discuss. Percy? Someone asked. Bro, gas him. Gas him up, bro. Please, inflate the legend of Percy Jackson. The fire dimmed even further, but Piper didn't need the mood flames to sense the crowd's anxiety. Chiron gestured to Annabeth. She took a deep breath and stood. I didn't find Percy, she announced. Her voice caught a little when she said his name. He wasn't the Grand Canyon like I thought, but we're not giving up. We've got teams everywhere. Grover, Tyson, Nico, and the Hunters of Artemis. Dang, even the Hunters. Makes sense. He's the savior of the world in Olympus. Everyone's out looking. We will find him. Chiron's talking about something different. A new quest. It's the great prophecy, isn't it? The girl called out. Everyone turned. The voice had come from a group in back. Sitting under a rose-colored banner with a dove emblem, they'd been chatting among themselves and not paying much attention until their leader stood up, Drew. Everyone else looked surprised. Apparently, Drew didn't address the crowd very often. Drew? Annabeth said. What do you mean? Yo, Sans Undertale, welcome into the stream. It's nice to have you, buddy. Welcome back. Appreciate you being here. Well, come on. Drew spread her hands like the truth was obvious. Olympus is closed. Percy's disappeared. Hera sends you a vision and you come back with 3 new demigods? In one day? I mean, something weird is going on. The great prophecy has started, right? Piper whispered to Rachel. What's she talking about? The great prophecy? Then she realized everyone else was looking at Rachel too. Well? Drew called down. You're the Oracle. Has it started or not? Hey y'all. Yay, what's up, Cabin 7 Avenger? I have missed you on these streams, but welcome in. Maybe doing an early stream was a good idea. You don't have time for that, but I'm happy that you're here. Yes. Don't disrespect my girl like that. Daughter of Apollo. You absolutely love to see it. Rachel's eyes looked scary in the firelight. Piper was afraid. She might clench up and start channeling a freaky peacock goddess again, but she stepped forward calmly and addressed the camp. Yes, she said. The great prophecy has begun. Wait, really? She can tell that? I feel like her powers are more vague. Didn't think she would be able to answer that. Yeah, your pun don't work. Pandemonium broke out. Piper caught Jason's eye. He mouthed, "You all right?" She nodded and managed a smile, but then looked away. It was too painful seeing him and not being with him. When the talking finally subsided, Rachel took another step toward the audience, and 50-plus demigods leaned away from her, as if one skinny red-headed mortal was more intimidating than all of them put together. The Oracle! This is so cool. For those of you who have not heard it, Rachel said, the Great Prophecy was my first prediction. It arrived in August. It goes like this. This is a story all about... She just starts rapping. That'd be fucking funny. Just a random human! Yo, the whole gang's here. I thought I was going to be having to do a read stream alone. Love that you guys came out even though it's early. Love to see it. Appreciate all of you being here. TBH, I felt like The Lost Hero was kind of slow-paced of how many pages there are, but I'm on set of Neptune trying to keep motivation to continue reading. I also make edits on Percy Jackson. Oh, interesting. On YouTube or on TikTok. I agree with the other books definitely make up for it. Yes, every Percy Jackson book is a banger. I agree. I am not feeling that. Which is so weird, the same way you guys are. Maybe it's because I'm reading on stream or whatever it is, but I'm really enjoying The Lost Hero. Like, I'm really enjoying this slower, I guess it's slower paced, but I think it's still great so far. I'm really not feeling that. I'm really enjoying The Lost Hero right now. Mugetsu! He's here too! Love to see it. Absolutely love to see it. Chad. The Lost Hero is amazing for introducing 3 brand new characters to us, and they're already all likable. True. I like all of them. They're great. Freaking... What was that? Yeah. 7 half-bloods shall answer the call. To storm or fire, the world must fall. God, it's so cool. Jason shot to his feet. His eyes looked wild, like he'd just been tasered. Even Rachel seemed caught off guard. Jason? She said. What's... Utcam spiritu postrema, sacramentum degeremis. He chanted. Damn. He's speaking in tongues. Hold on. Let me move this. I'm cutting off my face too much. Actually, yeah, I am. I don't know. I'll do it over here. It's awkward. Yeah, this just looks better. Whatever. Yeah, that's gas. I'm gonna start saying that in my day to day. Utcam spiritu postrema, sacramentum degeremas. He chanted. Et hoste sormementa adenta adienam necem. I imagine, like John Constantine, like that's how he says all of his things. Oof, love that. An uneasy silence settled on the group. Piper could see from their faces that several of them were trying to translate the lines. She could tell it was Latin, but she wasn't sure why her hopefully future boyfriend was suddenly chanting like a Catholic priest. You just finished the prophecy, Rachel stammered. An oath to keep with the final breath, and foes bear arms to the doors of death. How did you... I know those lines, Jason winced. He put his hands to his temples. I don't know how, but I know that prophecy. Jason's character just keeps getting more and more interesting. I told you he was boring last time, and now he's getting cool. Ever since those last Jason chapters, he's just been getting more and more cool. I'm just gonna read that one more time because I just like how those Latin words sound. They just sound cool. That utcam spiritu postrema sacramentum degeremus et hosto sonnamenta adenta dienam necem. That's just cool. That's just a cool ass sentence. I don't know what it means. I mean, I do know what it means, but it's still a sentence. Anyways. In Latin, no less, Drew called out, handsome and smart. I forgot Drew was a girl. I completely forgot. There was some giggling from Aphrodite Cabot. God, what a bunch of losers. Viper. Oh, she's so Aphrodite. She's so Aphrodite. It's not even funny. They're setting it up so hard. But it didn't do much to break the tension. The campfire was burning a chaotic, nervous shade of green. Jason sat down, looking embarrassed. But Annabeth put a hand on his shoulder and muttered something reassuring. Piper felt a pang of jealousy. It should have been her next to him, comforting him. God, my glasses fell off. No, you're not supposed to reveal my eyes like this. It's not time for a face reveal. Jason sat down looking embarrassed, but Annabeth put a hand on her shoulder and muttered something reassuring. Piper felt a pang of jealousy. Okay, it should have been her next to him, comforting him. Rachel Dare still looked a little shaken. She glanced back at Chiron for guidance, but the centaur stood grim and silent, as if he were watching a play he couldn't interrupt, a tragedy that ended with a lot of people dead on stage. Well, Rachel said, trying to regain her composure. So yeah, that's the great prophecy. We had hoped it might not happen for years, but I fear it's starting now. And I can't give you proof, it's just a feeling. And like Drew said, some weird stuff is happening. The 7 demigods, whoever they are, have not been gathered yet. I get the feeling some are here tonight, some are not here. Like Mr. Jackson, of course. And hopefully my girl Clarice, but I doubt. But I hope. Okay, I'm gonna make a guess right now. That obviously Jason, Leo, Piper, Annabeth, Percy, Nico. That's sorry for flipping you guys off because we're holding this, but Nico, that's 6, and then I would hope Clarice, but I'm thinking Will for some reason. I'm sure maybe there's some unintroduced characters, but I'm hoping Clarice. That's what I hope. The campers began to stir and mutter, looking at each other nervously until a drowsy voice in the crowd called out, "I'm here! Oh, were you calling roll? Go back to sleep, Clovis," someone yelled. A lot of people laughed. That's funny. Go. Itchy nose. No, stop itching. Anyway, Rachel continued, we don't know what the great prophecy means. We don't know what challenge the demigods will face. But isn't the first great prophecy with the Titan War? We can guess the second great prophecy predicts something at least that bad. Or worse, Chiron muttered. Maybe he didn't mean everyone to overhear, but they did. The campfire immediately turned dark purple. Yeah, Chiron, you can't just be going around saying that shit. All these kids get scared whenever you mention anything. The same color as Piper's dream. What we do know, Rachel said, is the first phase has begun. A major problem has arisen, and we need a quest to solve it. Okay, it is quest time. Let's go. Hera, the queen of the gods, has been taken. Shocked silence. Then 50 demigods started talking at once. Chiron pounded his hoof again, but Rachel still had to wait before she could get back their attention. She told them about the incident on the Grand Canyon skywalk, how Gleason Hedge had sacrificed. Wait, is he dead? Himself when the storm spirits attacked. I can never tell in Percy Jackson. And the spirits had warned it was only the beginning. They apparently served some great mistress who would destroy all demigods. Then Rachel told them about Piper passing out in Hera's cabin. Piper tried to keep a calm expression, even when she noticed Drew in the back row pantomiming a faint, and her friends giggling. Finally, Rachel told them about Jason's vision in the living room of the big house. The message Hera had delivered. There was so similar that Piper got a chill. The only difference, Hera had warned Piper not to betray her. Bow to his will, and their king shall rise, dooming us all. Hera knew about the giant's threat, but if that was true, why hadn't she warned Jason and exposed Piper as an enemy target? Jason, Rachel said, do you remember your last name? He looked self-conscious, but he shook his head. We'll just call you Jason then, Rachel said. It's clear Hera herself has issued you a quest. Rachel paused, as if giving Jason a chance to protest destiny. Everyone's eyes were on him. There was so much pressure. Piper thought she would have buckled in his position, yet he looked brave and determined. He set his jaw and nodded. I agree. You must save Hera to prevent a great evil, Rachel continued, some sort of king from rising. For reasons we don't know yet. We don't yet understand. It must happen by the winter solstice. That's not a lot of time, mijo. That's the council day of the gods, Annabeth said. The gods don't already know. Hera's gone. They will definitely notice her absence by then. They'll probably break out into fighting, accusing each other of taking her. And that's what they usually do. Makes sense. Well, let me catch up on the chat real quick. I heard this in middle school, and I related to Jason so much. He had He had no idea what was happening, and I would look around and be like, "Yeah, real." Yeah, that's fair. Honestly, it wouldn't be hard to imagine you as you as Leo reading these books. Me? I'm Leo? Well, why am I Leo? How am I Leo? I don't understand. Um, or just in her prison. But instead of trying to save her, we just leave her. Who needs hair anyway? And Zeus will be happy. It's a win-win. He'll probably give us a wish. Exactly. Interesting. True. Zeus would give us. Just might give him. Zeus does do that. He hands out wishes like Dragon Balls. The winter solstice, Karen spoke up, is also the time of the great darkness. The gods gather that day, as mortals always do, as much as always have, because there is strength in numbers. The solstice is a day when evil magic is strong, ancient magic older than the gods. It is a day when things stir. Hold on, let me read that again in Karen's voice. Is also the time of great darkness. The gods gather that day, as mortals always have, because there is strength in numbers. The solstice is a day when magic is strong, ancient magic older than the gods. It's a day when things. I'm not finding the Chiron voice today at all. It's not coming to me. Maybe it will eventually. The way he said it, stirring, sounded absolutely sinister. It could be first-degree felony. Not something you did to cookie dough. Okay, Annabeth said, glaring at the centaur. Thank you, Captain Sunshine. Whatever's going on, I agree with Rachel. Jason has been chosen to lead this quest. So, why hasn't he been claimed? Somebody yelled from the Ares cabin. If he's so important. He has been claimed, Chiron. He has been claimed, Chiron announced. Long ago. Jason, give them a demonstration. At first, Jason didn't seem to understand. He stepped forward nervously, and Piper couldn't help thinking how amazing he looked with his blonde hair glowing in the firelight, his regal features like a Roman statue. Not a Greek one. He glanced at Piper, and assuming he's gonna have some Roman god as his dad, even though the same as the Greek gods, but not. Interesting. He glanced at Piper, and she nodded encouragingly. She mimicked flipping a coin. Jason reached into his pocket. His coin flashed in the air, and when he caught it in his hand, he was holding a lance, a rod of gold, about 7 feet long, with a spear tip at one end. The other demigods gasped. Rachel and Annabeth stepped back to avoid the point, which looked sharp as an ice pick. Wasn't that? Annabeth hesitated. I thought you had a sword. It came with tails, I think, Jason said. Same coin, long-range weapon form. Dude, I want one. Somebody from Ares' cabin. Better than Clarice's electric spear. Lamer. One of his brothers agreed. Lamer? I don't know. Clarice, stick up for yourself. Where is she? Where's my girl Clarice? This is so unfortunate. Electric? Jason muttered. Like that was a good idea. Back away. Annabeth and Rachel got the message. Jason raised his javelin, and thunder broke open the sky. Every hair on Piper's arm stood up. Lightning arced down through the golden spear point and hit the campfire with the force of an artillery shell. When the smoke cleared and the ringing in Piper's ear subsided, the entire camp sat frozen in shock, half blind, covered in ashes, staring at the place where the fire had been. Cinders rained down everywhere. A burning log had impaled itself a few inches from the sleeping kid Clovis, who hadn't even been stirred. Jason lowered his lance. Sorry. Chiron brushed some burning coals out of his beard. He grimaced as if his worst fears had been confirmed. A little overkill, perhaps, but you've made your point, and I believe we know who your father is. Jupiter, Jason said. I mean Zeus, Lord of the Sky. See, I was gonna guess Zeus. But it didn't make any sense to me because I was like, oh, he's already been claimed. Like Zeus has already claimed Thalia. When did he have another kid? I feel like he would learn his lesson, but then again, he's Zeus. So I'm very confused. I was like, I didn't guess it, but I guess he is Zeus or Jupiter. So I'm assuming they'll go more into detail about what the difference is, because right now it's pretty vague. Exactly. Hashtag hate on Hera. Hashtag W this guy. I'm talking about Leo. It's always on the solstice, constantly, every time. Leo just a W short bean. Actually, he's a short king. God, you mean? He ain't a bean though. He's a king. Speaking of Zeus, me waiting for him to his cabin. The animation had to have made you think a little. It did make me think a little, but I didn't want to just say that because it still made no sense. Just because Thalia is already a thing. She's already a thing. And I'm okay, why would they introduce a kid of Zeus? But alright, I guess we have one, so that's interesting. I like how all of us, other than him, know exactly what's gonna go. Of course you do. You've read the books before. This is my first time. Cut me some slack. First time reader. We're all just waiting patiently. I see. Let's continue on then. Jupiter, Jason said. I mean Zeus, Lord of the Sky. Piper couldn't help smiling. It made perfect sense. Why can't Thalia fly? Why is Jason flying? Why can't Thalia? It's the most powerful god, the father of all the greatest heroes in ancient myths. No one else could possibly be Jason's dad. Bro, you're glazing this man, Jason. He hasn't even done anything yet. Bro doesn't even know you. Apparently, the rest of the camp wasn't so sure. Everything broke into chaos, with dozens of people asking questions until Annabeth raised her arms. Hold it, she said. How can he be the son of Zeus? Exactly! Big three, they're packed not to have mortal kids? How could we not have known about him sooner? Chiron didn't answer, but Piper got the feeling. He knew the truth. He knew, and the truth was not good. The important thing, Rachel said, is that Jason's here now. He has a quest to fulfill, which means he will need his own prophecy. Freaking Rachel, freaking about to oracle the bitch up. She closed her eyes and swooned. 2 campers rushed forward and caught her. A third ran to the side of the amphitheater and grabbed a bronze 3-legged stool, like they'd been trained for this duty. Dang, they're on Rachel prophecy duty. That's so cool. I like that. They eased Rachel onto the stool in front of the ruined hearth. Without the fire, the night was dark, but green mist started swirling around Rachel's feet. When she opened her eyes, they were glowing. Emerald smoke issued from her mouth. The voice that came out was raspy and ancient, the sound a snake would make if it could talk. Child of lightning, beware the earth. The giant's revenge, the 7 shall birth. The forge and dove shall break the cage, and death unleash through Hera's rage. Oh, so it is Hera. Hera confirmed. That wasn't just a theory. It's truly Hera. Okay. On the last word, Rachel collapsed, but her helpers were waiting to catch her. They carried her away from the hearth and laid her in the corner to rest. Is that normal? Piper asked. Then she realized she'd spoken into silence, and everyone was looking at her. I mean, does she spew green smoke a lot? Gods, you're dense! Bro, please knock her ass out. Drew's getting on my nerves. She just issued a prophecy. Jason's prophecy to save Hera. Why don't you just... Drew! Annabeth snapped. Piper asked a fair question. Yeah, talk to him! Something about that prophecy definitely isn't normal. If breaking Hera's cage unleashes her rage and causes a bunch of death, why would we free her? It might be a trap, or maybe Hera will turn on her rescuers. She's never been kind to heroes. Jason rose. I don't have much choice. Hera took my memory. I need it back. Besides, we can't just not help the Queen of the Heavens if she's in trouble. A girl from Hephaestus' cabin stood up. Nissa, the one with the red bandana. Maybe you should listen to Annabeth. Hera can be vengeful. She threw her own son, our dad, down a mountain just because he was ugly. Real ugly, snickered someone from Aphrodite. Bitch, shut up. Thank you, bro. Nissa growled. Anyway, we've also got to think, why beware the earth? And what's the giant's revenge? What are we dealing with here? That's powerful enough to kidnap the queen of the heavens. No one answered, but Piper noticed Annabeth and Chiron having a silent exchange. Piper thought it went something like, the giant's revenge? No, it can't be. Don't speak of it here. Don't scare them. So Annabeth knows too. Yo, Mattson Murner, welcome in, buddy. Always nice to see you. What's it? Leave her in the cell. Let me make sure I didn't miss any messages. Okay. We're Gucci. Anyway, you're kidding me. We can't be that unlucky. Later, child. If you told them everything, they would be too terrified to proceed. Piper knew it was crazy to think she could read their expressions so well. Two people she barely knew, but she was absolutely positive she understood them, and it scared her. It scared the jujubes out of her. Annabeth took a deep breath. It's Jason's quest, she announced, so it's Jason's choice. Obviously, he's the child of lightning. According to tradition, he may choose any two companions. Someone from Hermes' cabin yelled, you obviously, Annabeth, you've got the most experience. No, Travis, Annabeth said. First off, I'm not helping Hera. Every time I've tried, she's deceived me. I thought you were a child of Aphrodite. Or it's come back to bite me later. Forget it. No way. Secondly, I'm leaving first thing in the morning to find Percy. It's connected, Piper blurted out. Not sure how she got the courage. You know that's true, don't you? This whole business, your boyfriend's disappearance, it's all connected. How? demanded Drew. If you're so smart, how? Piper tried to form an answer, but she couldn't. Annabeth saved her. You may be right, Piper. If this is connected, I'll find out from the other end by searching for Percy. As I said, I'm not about to rush off to rescue Hera. Even if her disappearance sets the rest of the Olympians fighting again. There's another reason I can't go. The prophecy says otherwise. It says who I pick, Jason agreed. The forge and dove shall break the cage. The forge is the symbol of Hephaestus. Under cabin 9 banner. Under the cabin 9 banner, Nisha's shoulders slumped. Like she'd just been. Oh, yeah, Jason's really smart. I guess he's like a Jason born, right? He doesn't know how smart he is. Sorry, my dumbass brother did something to his leg. Oh, you're all good. What did he do? Annabeth is such a queen. You love Annabeth. She's great. Nissa's shoulder slumped, like she'd just been given a heavy anvil to carry. If you have to beware the earth, she said, you should avoid traveling over land. You'll need air support. Piper was about to call out that Jason could fly, but then she thought better of it. That was for Jason to tell them, and he wasn't volunteering the information. Maybe he figured he'd freak them out enough for one night. The flying chariot's broken, Nissa continued, and the Pegasi, we're using them to search for Percy. But maybe Hephaestus' cabin can help figure out something else to help. With Jake incapacitated, I'm senior camper. I can volunteer for the quest. She didn't sound enthusiastic. Then Leo stood up. He'd been so quiet. Pepper had almost forgotten he was there. Just totally not Leo-like. True, I did forget Leo was there. I completely forgot. That's very un-Leo-like. It's me, he said. His cabin stirred. Several tried to pull him back to his seat, but Leo resisted. No, it's me. I know it is. I've got an idea for the transportation problem. Let me try. I can fix this. Jason studied him for a moment. Transportation problem? Perhaps? Where is it? I don't see it. Where was I? Let me try, I can fix this. Jason studied him for a moment. Piper was sure he was going to tell Leo. Then he smiled. We started this together. Leo seems only right. He's going to tell Leo no. Then he smiled. We started this together. Leo, it seems only right you come along. You find us a ride, you're in. Yes! Leo pumped his fist. And the dove? It's gotta be Aphrodite, right? Please? It'll be dangerous, Issa warned. Hardships, monsters, terrible suffering. Possibly none of you will come back alive. Oh. Suddenly, Leo didn't look excited. It's fine, Leo. Character development. You're all good. Then he remembered everyone was watching. I mean, oh, cool, suffering. I love suffering. Let's do this. Annabeth nodded. Then, Jason, you only need to choose the third quest member. The dove. Oh, absolutely. I am awesome. I'm so fucking awesome. Drew was on her feet and flashing Jason a smile. The dove is Aphrodite. Everybody knows that. Don't fucking talk to me about nothing. I'm the goat of this shit. I would have predicted Zeus too if I didn't. What's it called? If I didn't doubt myself because of it not making any sense, which I think was probably the reason why Rick wrote it like that. But still. Anyways, don't talk to me because fucking I predicted Hephaestus and Aphrodite from chapter 1. I'm awesome. Anyways, alright, hold on, where is it? Oh, it's the Drew's on flashing Jason smile. The dove is Aphrodite. Everybody knows that. I am totally yours. Ugh. Take your ass home somewhere. Piper's hands clenched. She stepped forward. No, Drew rolled back her eyes. Oh, please, dumpster girl. Back off. I had the vision of Hera, not you. I have to do this. Anyone can have a vision, Drew said. You're just at the right place at the right time. She turned to Jason. Look, fighting is all fine, I suppose. People who build things. She looked at Leo in disdain. Well, I suppose someone has to get their hands dirty, but you need charm on your side. I can be very persuasive. I can help a lot. I doubt that very much, Drew. I'm not gonna lie to you. Because the only thing you've persuaded me to do this entire time is be annoyed every single time I see your name. The camper started murmuring about how Drew was pretty persuasive. Piper could see Drew winning them over. Even Chiron was scratching his beard, like Drew's participation suddenly made sense to him. Well, Annabeth said, given the wording of the prophecy, no! Piper's own voice sounded strange in her ears, more insistent, richer in tone. I'm supposed to go. Then the weirdest thing happened. Everyone started nodding, muttering that, Wait, powers of persuasion? People just give her things. She just asks and they say yes. Okay. I see you, Rick. I see you, Riordan. Well, started nodding and muttering. Piper's point of view made it's like the voice from Dune. It's like what she does. Drew looked around, incredulous. Even some of her own campers were nodding. Get over it, Drew snapped at the crowd. What could Piper do? Piper tried to respond, but her confidence started to wane. What could she offer? She wasn't a fighter, or a planner, or a fixer. She had no skills except getting into trouble and occasionally convincing people to do stupid things. Plus, she was a liar. She needed to go on this quest for reasons that went way beyond Jason. If she did go, she'd end up betraying everyone there. Wow. Sure, that voice from the dream. Do our bidding, and you may walk away alive. How could she make a choice like that between helping her father and helping Jason? Well, just smugly, I guess that settles it. Suddenly there was a collective gasp. Everyone stared at Piper like she just exploded. She wondered what she'd done wrong. Then she realized there was a reddish glow around her. What? She demanded. She looked above her, but there was no burning symbol like the one that appeared over Leo. Then she looked down and yelped. Her clothes. What in the world was she wearing? She despised dresses. She didn't own a dress. No, she was adorned in a beautiful white sleeveless gown that went down to her ankles with a V-neck so low it was totally embarrassing. Dang. Okay, Rick. Totally embarrassing. Delicate gold armbands circled her biceps. An intricate necklace of amber, coral, and gold flowers glittered on her chest and her hair. Oh God, she said. What's happened? A stunned Annabeth pointed at Piper's dagger, which was now oiled and gleaming, hanging at her side on a golden cord. Piper didn't want to draw it. She was afraid of what she would see, but her curiosity won out. She unsheathed Catoptris and stared at her reflection in the polished metal blade. Her hair was perfect, lush and long and chocolate brown, braided with gold ribbons down one side so it fell across her shoulder. She even wore makeup better than Piper would ever know how to do herself. Subtle touches that made her lips cherry red and brought out all the different colors in her eyes. She was beautiful, Jason exclaimed. Piper, you're a knockout. Whoa, Jason. Slow your roll, buddy. Under different circumstances, that would have been the happiest moment of her life, but now everyone was staring at her like she was a freak. Drew's face was full of horror and revolution. No, she cried. Not possible. This isn't me, I protested. I don't understand. Chiron the centaur folded his legs and bowed to her. In all the campers followed his example. Hail, Piper McLean. Chiron announced gravely, as if he were speaking at her funeral. Daughter of Aphrodite, Lady of the Doves, Goddess of Love. Yes. Yes. Hold on. Did somebody... Oh, anyways. Did bro mix up Drew and Piper? I might have, in my words. I predicted Piper being the child of Aphrodite because I'm goated. Yes, Drew a baddie? What are you talking about, bro? Drew is mad annoying. Drew needs to get out of here. It's such a unique way of claiming it is. It's very Aphrodite stuff. Thought it was cool though. If you guys remember, all the way back in my earliest read streams, if you guys were even there for those, way back then, I was like, I really hope there's a badass daughter of Aphrodite that gets introduced into the series and is a really cool character. And people were like, that doesn't exist, or we'll see something along those lines, and I was like, it definitely is a thing. Called that day one. You remember? Yes, haha. I've been waiting for this moment. Piper is currently my favorite character, if you couldn't tell, in this new thing. Hey, Shaughnessy Feeney, welcome in. Welcome to the stream. Just finished the first chapter of the stream, so nice to have you. You're not missing too much. Appreciate you being here. And now it is time for more Leo chapters. That was peak chapter. All right, let's try to get to try to talk a little bit less so I can get to 172 before the end of the stream. Yeah, you've been pretty on fire with these predictions because I'm goated with the sauce, the percy sauce. Anyways, yeah. Read time. I'm trying to get through quickly so I can get to 172 for the end of the stream, so I can then read to 238 off stream. Because I'm excited to blast this book to get the sound of that tune. So I'm assuming it'll get a lot more interesting there, even though I love. Where did Bonnie say to start up after 172? After 172, 238 is where we will start after. I start back after I read those chapters. So 172, 278. Yeah, Bonnie's the best. All right. Leo didn't stick around after Piper turned beautiful. Sure, it was amazing and all. She's got makeup. It's a miracle. but Leo had problems to deal with. He ducked out of the amphitheater and ran to the darkness, wondering what he'd gotten himself into. Stood up in front of a bunch of stronger, braver demigods and volunteered for a mission that would probably get him killed. He had mentioned seeing Tia Kalida, his old babysitter, but as soon as he'd heard about Jason's vision, the lady in the black dress and shawl, Leo knew it was the same woman. Tia Kalida was Hera. His evil baby sister was the queen of the gods. Stuff like that could really deep fry your brain. He trudged toward the woods and tried to think about his childhood, all the messed up things that had led to his mother's death, but he couldn't help it. The first time Tia Kalida tried to kill him, he must have been about 2. Tia Calida was looking after him while his mother was at the machine shop. She wasn't really his aunt, of course. She was one of the older men in the community, a generic tia who helped watch the kids. She smelled like a honey-baked ham and always wore a widow's dress with a black shawl. "Let's see you down for a nap," she said. "Let's see if you are my brave little hero, eh?" Leo was sleepy. She nestled him into blankets and a warm mound of red and yellow pillows. First of all, how does my man remember when he was 2? Firstly, but whatever. The bed was like a cubby there's like a cubby in a hole in a wall, made of blackened bricks with a metal slot over his head and a square hole far above where he could see the stars. He remembered resting comfortably, grabbing at sparks like fireflies. He dozed and dreamed off a boat made of fire, sailing through the cinders. He imagined himself on board, navigating the sky. Somewhere nearby, Tia Calida sat in her rocking chair, creak, 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 and sang a lullaby. Even at 2, Lee knew the difference between English and Spanish, and he remembered being puzzled because Tia Calida was singing a language that was neither. Everything was fine until his mother came home. She screamed and raced over to snatch him up, yelling at Tia Calida, "How could you?" But the old lady had disappeared. Lee remembered looking over his mother's shoulder at the flames curling around his blanket. Only years later had he realized he was sleeping in a blazing fireplace. Bruh, oh my goodness. The weirdest thing, Tia Calida hadn't been arrested or even banished from their house. She appeared again, several times over the next few years. Once when Leo was 3, she let him play with knives. "You must learn your blades early." This is so interesting. I wonder who this Tia Calida is. Is it Hera? That'd be so interesting. Demigod memory or plot convenience? The world may never know. If you are to be my hero someday. Leo managed not to kill himself, but he got the feeling Tia Calida wouldn't have cared one way or the other. When Leo was 4, Tia found a rattlesnake for him in a nearby cow pasture. She gave him a stick and encouraged him to poke the animal. "Where's your bravery, little hero? Show me the fates were right to choose you." That's such a cool line. Leo stared down at those embers, hearing the dry shh of the snake's rattle. He couldn't bring himself to poke the snake. It didn't seem fair. Apparently the snake felt the same way about biting a little kid. Leo could have sworn it looked at Tia Calida like, "Are you nuts, lady?" Then it disappeared into the tall grass. The last time she babysat him, Leo was 5. She brought him a pack of crayons and a pad of paper. They sat together at the picnic table in back of the apartment complex, under an old pecan tree. While Tia Calida sang her strange songs, Leo drew a picture of the boat he'd seen in the flames, with colorful sails and rows of oars, a curved stern, and an awesome figurehead. When he was almost done and about to sign his name, the way he learned in kindergarten, a wind snatched the picture away. It flew into the sky and disappeared. Bitch. Zeus is a bitch. Leo wanted to cry. He spent so much time on that picture, but Tia Calida just clucked with disappointment. "It isn't time yet, little hero. Someday you'll have your quest, you'll find your destiny, and your hard journey will finally make sense. But first, you must face many sorrows. I regret that, but heroes cannot be shaped any other way. Now, make me a fire, eh? Warm these old bones. Heroes cannot be shaped any other way." What a bunch of bangers. Oh my goodness. Rick is an underrated writer. He really is. He has to be. Maybe his verbiage isn't up to snuff with some of the greats, but just the building so far of the story is amazing. It's gotta be underrated. A few minutes later, Leo's mom came out and shrieked with horror. Tia Calida was gone, but Leo sat in the middle of a smoking fire. The pad of paper was reduced to ashes. Crayons had melted into a bubbling puddle of multicolored goo, and Leo's hands were ablaze, slowly burning through the picnic table. For years afterward, people in the apartment complex would wonder how many had seared the impressions of a 5-year-old's hands inch deep into solid wood. Now Leo was sure that Tia Calida, his psychotic babysitter, had been Hera all along. That made her, what, his godly grandmother? His family was even more messed up than he realized. He wondered if his mother had known the truth. Leo remembered after that last visit, his mom took him inside and had a long talk with him. But he only understood some of it. She can't come back again. His mom had a beautiful face with kind eyes and curly dark hair. But she looked older than she was because of hard work. The lines around her eyes were deeply etched. Her hands were calloused. She was the first person from their family to graduate college. She had a degree in medical engineering. Of course she did. And could design anything, fix anything, build anything. No one would hire her. No company would take her seriously. So she ended up in the machine shop, trying to make enough money to support the two of them. She always smelled the machine oil. When she talked with Leo, she switched from Spanish to English constantly, using them like complementary tools. It took Leo years to realize that not everyone spoke that way. She'd even taught him Morse code. What a fucking chat of a mom. My god. Morse code is a kind of game, so they could tap messages to each other when they were in different rooms. I love you. You okay? Simple things like that. I don't care what Khalida says. His mom told him, I don't care about destiny and the fates. You're too young for that. You're still my baby. That's awesome. She took his hand, looking for burn marks, but of course there weren't any. Leo, listen to me. Fire is a tool like anything else, but it's more dangerous than most. You don't know your limits. Please promise me, no more fire until you meet your father. Someday, mijo, you will meet him. He'll explain everything. Leo had heard that since he could remember, someday he would meet his dad. His mom wouldn't answer any questions about him. Leo had never met him, never even seen pictures, but she talked like he'd just gone to the store. Like he'd just gone to the store for some milk, and he'd be back any minute. Rick, bro. Leo tried to believe her. Someday everything would make sense. For the next couple of years, they were happy. Leo almost forgot about Tia Calida. He still dreamed of the flying boat, but the other strange events seemed like a dream too. It all came apart when he was 8. By then, he was spending every free hour at the shop with his mom. He knew how to use the machines. He could measure and do math better than most adults. He learned to think three-dimensionally, solve mechanical problems in his head the way his mom did. One night, they stayed late because his mom was finishing a drill bit design. She hoped to patent. If she could sell the prototype, it might change their lives. She'd finally get a break. As she worked, Leo passed her supplies and told her corny jokes, trying to keep her spirits up. He loved it when he could make her laugh. She'd smile and say, "Your father would be proud of you, mijo. You'll meet him soon, I'm sure." God, I'm loving Leo's mom. Oh, Leo's mom is the goat. It's gonna be so sad when she dies. Mom's workspace was at the very back of the shop. It was kind of creepy at night because they were the only ones there. Every sound echoed through the dark warehouse, but Leo didn't mind as long as he was with his mom. If he did wander the shop, they could always keep in touch with Morse code taps. Whenever they were ready to leave, they had to walk through the entire shop, the break rooms and out to the parking lot, locking the doors behind them. That night, after finishing up, they'd just gone to the break room and his mom realized she didn't have her keys. "That's funny," she groaned. "I know I had them. Wait here, mijo. I'll only be a minute." Fuck. She gave him one more smile, the last one he'd ever get, and she went back into the warehouse. She'd only been gone a few heartbeats when the interior door slammed shut. Then the exterior door locked itself. "Mom?" Leo's heart pounded. Something heavy crashed inside the warehouse. He ran to the door, but no matter how hard he pulled or kicked, it wouldn't open. "Mom?" Frantically, he tapped a message on the wall. "You okay?" "She can't hear you," a voice said. Leo turned and found himself facing a strange woman. At first he thought it was Tia Calida. She was wrapped in black robes, with a veil covering her face. "Tia?" he said. The woman chuckled, a slow, gentle sound, as if she were half asleep. "I am not your guardian. Merely a family resemblance." What do you want? Where's my mom?" "Oh, loyal to your mother. How nice. But you see, I have children too, and I understand you will fight them someday. Who is this villain? I'm so intrigued. This villain is so vague, and like I'm curious who she is, because I don't know who is even a bigger, a comparable bad to Kronos for this series, right? And every time you see something about them, is it if it's Hera? I doubt it is, but like whoever this big bad is like crazy, insano strong, like insano, like just creepy and looming, and they're just building things in the background of the story, and it's like, who are you? Okay, chat. I don't think I missed anything. This is the ship beside me worried happening to Percy for being born. Her and Sally Jackson are easily the best moms. No, like straight up. Rick definitely loves his mom because he writes moms amazingly. I have to go. I will after catch up later. Wow, that's sad, but thank you for joining anyway, Shaughnessy. It was nice having you while you were here. Let's keep going, baby. 1 hour in. Okay, cool. What time is it? 8:31. Okay. Where was I? And you fight them someday. I understand you will fight them someday. When you try to wake me, you will prevent them. I cannot allow that. I don't know you. I don't want to fight anybody. She muttered like a sleepwalker in a trance. A wise choice. With a chill, Leo realized the woman was in fact asleep. Behind the veil, her eyes were closed. But even stranger, her clothes were not made of cloth. They were made of earth. Dry, black dirt. Churning and shifting around, her pale, sleeping face was barely visible behind a curtain of dust, and he had the horrible sense that she had just risen from the grave. If the woman was asleep, Leo wanted her to stay that way. He knew that fully awake, she would be even more terrible. 1 second. Let's just find this message. Alright, let's continue on. Where was I? Yeah, they were made of earth, dry, black dirt, churning and shifting around. Her pale, sleeping face was barely visible behind a curtain of dust, and he had a horrible sense that she had just risen from the grave. If the woman was asleep, Leo wanted her to stay that way. He knew that, fully awake, she would be even more terrible. I cannot destroy you yet, the woman muttered. The fates not allow it. They do not protect your mother. Fuck. And they cannot stop me from breaking your spirit. Remember this night, little hero, when they ask you to oppose me. This might be some of the coldest villain dialogue I've ever read in my entire life. I'm taking a picture of this page. I'm going to talk about it with Noah later, the other guy who runs this channel. Freaking... Hold on. That has got to be some of the coldest villain dialogue I have ever read. Jesus Christ. The fates do not allow it, but they do not protect your mother. And they cannot stop me from breaking your spirit. Fuck. Remember this night, little hero, when they ask you to oppose me. Leave my mother alone. As the woman shuffled forward, she moved more like an avalanche than a person, a dark wall of earth shifting toward him. How will you stop me? She whispered. She walked straight through the table. Particles of her body reassembling on the other side. She loomed over Leo, and he knew she would pass right through him too. He was the only thing between her and his mother. His hands caught fire. A sleepy smile spread across the woman's face, as if she'd already won. Leo screamed with desperation. His vision turned red. Flames washed over the earthen woman, the walls, the locked doors, and Leo lost consciousness. Shit's not okay. This shit's not okay. Oh my goodness. When he woke, he was in an ambulance. The paramedic tried to be kind. He told him the warehouse had burned down. His mother hadn't made it out. The paramedic said she was sorry, but Leo felt hollow. He'd lost control, just like his mother had warned. Her death was his fault. Soon the police came to get him, and they weren't as nice. The fire had started in the break room, they said, right where Leo was standing. He survived by some miracle. But what kind of child locked the doors of his mother's workplace, knowing she was inside, and started a fire? Later, his neighbors at the apartment complex told the police what a strange boy he was. He talked about the burned handprints on the picnic table. They'd always known something was wrong with Esperanza Valdez's son. His relatives wouldn't take him in. His Aunt Rosa called him a Diablo and shouted at the social workers to take him away. So Leo went to his first foster home. A few days later, pieces of fucking shit. Rick just knows how to play the game, bro. He plays the game well. I can't, dude. I feel like Percy Jackson is an underrated series. I feel like it is. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Because just what I'm reading here is like really great world building and character building stuff. Like, this is insane. A few days later, he ran away. Some foster homes lasted longer than others. He would joke around, make a few friends, and pretend nothing bothered him, but he always ended up running, sooner or later. It was the only thing that made him, that made the pain better. Feeling like he was moving, getting farther and farther away from the ashes of that machine shop. He promised himself he would never play with fire again. He hadn't thought about Tia Calida or the sleeping woman wrapped in earthen robes for a long time. He was almost to the woods when he imagined Tia Calida's voice. It wasn't your fault, little hero. Our enemy wakes. It's time to stop running, Leo muttered. You're not even here. Or you're in a cage somewhere. Wait, so let me read it again. He almost to the woods when he imagined Tia Calida's voice. Okay, we're back. We're back in the present. Oh, dang. It wasn't your fault, little hero. Our enemy wakes. It's time to stop running. Hera, Leo muttered. You're not even here, are you? You're in a cage somewhere. There was no answer, but now at least Leo understood something. Hera had been watching him his entire life. Somehow she'd known that one day she would need him. Maybe those fates she mentioned could tell the future. Leo wasn't sure, but he knew he was meant to go on this quest. Jason's prophecy warned them to beware the earth. Leo knew it had something to do with the sleeping woman in the shop, wrapped in robes of shifting dirt. You'll find your destiny, Tia Calida had promised, and your hard journey will finally make sense. Leo might find out what that flying boat in his dreams meant. He might meet his father, or even get to avenge his mother's death. Oof. Man, Leo. Some tough stuff here, bro. But first things first, he'd promised Jason a flying ride. Not the boat from his dreams. Not yet. There wasn't time to build something that complicated. He needed a quicker solution. He needed a dragon. This is so cool. He hesitated at the edge of the woods, peering into absolute blackness. Owls hooted, and something far away hissed like a chorus of snakes. Lee remembered what Will Solis had told him. No one should go in the woods alone. Definitely not unarmed. Leo had nothing. No sword, no flashlight, no help. He glanced back at the lights of the cabin. He could turn around now and tell everyone he'd been joking. Psych! Nissa could go on the quest instead. He could stay at the camp and learn to be a part of Festus' cabin. But he wondered how long it would be before he looked like his bunkmates, sad, dejected, convinced of his own bad luck. They could not stop me from breaking your spirit, the sleeping woman said. Remember this night, little hero, when they asked you to oppose me. Believe me, lady, Leo muttered. I remember. And whoever you are, I'm gonna face plant you hard, Leo style. He took a deep breath and plunged into the forest. Man! What a chapter! They just keep getting better and better. Hold on. Many people here days don't read, and my advice to parents is Percy Jackson because of how much it impacted me as a child, and to me into reading. Reading is I'm assuming that means gift that many have forgotten. It's 100% underrated. It's not talked about enough. My keyboard isn't working probably, so please forgive my misspelling. Nah, you're all good. I think I got the gist of what you're saying. No, yeah, I completely agree. I've like I said, me personally, I've been trying to get back into reading, um, and because I remembered Percy Jackson series at all from the trailers that was released last year. Like, I was like, oh, I just got inspired to read the books because it was a big part of my childhood, the movies. So I was like, oh, dang, maybe I should finally read the books. And I decided, and that made me want, like, dang, maybe I'm missing out on this whole other thing. So I have a bunch of other books here that I want to read now because I'm really interested in reading now. I know I'm a little old, but still, like, it still made me more interested in reading other things because I don't know, it's just a very easy series to read too. Maybe that's also why. But it's easy, it's fun, and it's cool as hell. So yeah, but that was a great chapter. I keep saying this, but like every chapter keeps trumping itself. Why do you guys dislike Lost Hero so much? I don't understand. Maybe it's the later portion of the book but everything right now is so fantastic, like so fantastic. I don't get it. I don't get it at all. But whatever. I'm gonna keep reading. We're close. 30 pages away before the inevitable 172. The woods weren't like any place he'd been before. Leo had been raised in a North Houston, apartment complex. The wildest thing he'd ever seen was that rattlesnake in the cow pasture. And his Aunt Rosa in her nightgown until he was sent to wilderness school. Even there, the school had been in the desert. No trees with gnarled roots to trip over, no streams to fail into, no branches casting dark and creepy shadows, and owls looking down at him with their big reflective eyes. This was the Twilight Zone. He stumbled along until he was sure no one back at the camp could possibly see him. Then he summoned fire. Flames danced along his fingertips, casting enough light to see. He hadn't tried to keep a sustained burn going since he was 5 at the picnic table. Since his mom's death, he'd been too afraid to try anything. Even his tiny fire made him feel guilty. He kept walking, looking for dragon-type clues. Giant footprints, trampled trees, swaths of burning forest. Something that big couldn't exactly sneak around, right? But he saw nada. Once he glimpsed a large, furry shape, like a wolf or a bear. But it stayed away from his fire, which was fine by Leo. Then at the bottom of a clearing, he saw the first trap, 100-foot wide crater ringed with boulders. Leo had to admit it was pretty ingenious. In the center of the depression, a metal vat the size of a hot tub had been filled with the bubbly dark liquid, Tabasco sauce, and motor oil. Hold on, read that again. At the bottom of the clearing, he saw the first trap, a 100-foot wide crater ringed with boulders. Leo had to admit it was pretty ingenious. In the center of the depression, a metal vat, the size of a hot tub, had been filled with bubbly dark liquid, Tabasco sauce, and motor oil. On a pedestal, suspended over the vat, an electric fan rotated in a circle, spreading the fumes across the forest. Could metal dragons smell? The vat seemed to be unguarded, but Leo looked closely in the dim light of the stars and his handheld fire. He could see the glint of metal beneath the dirt and leaves. A bronze net lined the entire crater, or maybe sea wasn't the right word. He could sense it, as if the mechanism was emitting fire, revealing itself to him. 6 large strips of bronze stretched out from the vat like the spokes of a wheel. They would be pressure sensitive, Leo guessed. As soon as the dragon stepped on one, the net would spring closed, and And voila, one gift-wrap monster. Leo edged closer. He put his foot on the nearest trigger strip, as he expected nothing to happen. They had to have set the net for something really heavy. Otherwise, they could catch an animal, human, small monster, whatever. He doubted there was anything else as heavy as a metal dragon. In these words, at least he hoped there wasn't. Yeah, me and you both, buddy. Where was I? Dang it, I lost it again. I should stop looking away. Yeah, he picked his way down the crater and approached the vat. The fumes were almost overpowering, and his eyes started watering. He remembered a time when Tia Calida, Hera, whatever, made him chop jalapenos in the kitchen, and he'd gotten the juice in his eyes. Serious pain. God, I couldn't even imagine. But of course, she'd been like, endure it, little hero. The Aztecs of your mother's homeland used to punish bad children by holding them over a fire filled with chili peppers. They raised their many heroes that way. Total psycho, that lady. Leo was so glad he was on a quest to rescue her. Tia Calida would have loved this vat. It could have been way worse than jalapeno juice. Leo looked for a trigger, something that would disable the net. He didn't see anything. He had a moment of panic. Nissa had said there were several traps like this in the woods, and they were planning more. What if the dragon had already stepped into another one? How could Leo possibly find them all? He continued to search, but he didn't see any release mechanism. No large button labeled off. It occurred to him that there might not be one. He started to despair, and then he heard the sound. Hold on. Text that I gotta respond to again. Sorry, guys. There we go. It was more of a tremor, the deep sort of rumbling you hear in your gut rather than your ears. It gave him the jitters, but he didn't look around for the source. He just kept examining the trap, thinking, must be a long way off. It's pounding its way through the woods. I gotta hurry. So was his plan to, like, feed the dragon fire? Like, what's he gonna do? Then he heard a grinding snort, like steam. We're about to find out. Forced out of a metal barrel. His neck tingled. He turned slowly at the edge of the pit. Page, flip it. 50 feet away, two glowing red eyes were staring at him. The creature gleamed in the moonlight, and Leo couldn't believe something that huge had sneaked up on him so fast. Too late, he realized its gaze was fixed on the fire in his hand, and he extinguished the flames. Ooh, hold on. Can I take up the chat now? I don't dislike it, but when you compare it to the other four, it's incomparable. There's no shot. You're not about to tell me these next 4 books are that good. You're not about to tell me the Heroes of Olympus series is that good. Because I really enjoyed the Percy Jackson series. I didn't think it was like fantastic, amazing. But if these are better than those, and you're gassing up to this level, then these are about to be amazing books. Which I refuse to believe, to be honest. For me, it was the middle, agreed. Like, I just finished The Son of Neptune yesterday. It took me a day and a half. Couldn't put it down. You will definitely have a love-hate relationship with Mark of Athena. God, I'm getting so excited. Bro, you guys gonna have to let me read more on my own so we can get through this faster. I'm about to read 100 chapters on my own, but still, like, I'm so excited. I need to get to the next ones. Anyways, what is it? He could still see the dragon just fine. It's about 60 feet long, snout to tail, its body made of interlocking bronze plates. Its claws were the size of butcher knives, and its mouth was lined with hundreds of dagger sharp metal teeth. Steam came out of his nostrils and snarled like a chainsaw cutting through a tree. It could have bitten Leo in half, easy, or stomped him flat. It was the most beautiful thing he'd ever seen, except for one problem that completely ruined Leo's plan. You don't have wings, Leo said. The dragon's snarl died. It tilted its head as if to say, "Why aren't you running away in terror?" Oh, that's cool. This is about to be a hat from your dragon moment. Hey, no offense, Leo said. You're amazing. Good God, who made you? Are you hydraulic or nuclear powered or what? But if it was me, I would have put wings on you. What kind of dragon doesn't have wings? I guess maybe you're too heavy to fly? Should have thought of that. The dragon snorted, more confused now. It was just a trample, Leo. This conversation thing wasn't a part of the plan. It took a step forward, and Leo shouted, "No!" And the dragon snarled again. It's a trap, Bronze Brain, Leo said. They're trying to catch you. Oh my God, I'm loving this interaction. The dragon opened its mouth and blew fire. A column of white, hot flames built over Leo, more than he'd ever tried to endure before. He felt as if he were being hosed down with a powerful, very hot fire hose. It stung a little, but he stood his ground. God, this is so cool. This is so cool. When the flames died, he was perfectly fine. Even his clothes were okay, which Leo didn't understand. Yeah, demigod magic happens to Percy too. But for which he was grateful. He liked his army jacket, and having his pants seared off would have been pretty embarrassing. The dragon stared at Leo. Its face didn't actually change, being made of metal and all, but Leo thought he could read its expression. Why no crispy critter? A spark flew out of its neck like it was about to short circuit. You can't burn me, Leo said, trying to sound stern and calm. He never had a dog before, but he talked to the dragon the way he thought you talked to a dog. Stay, boy. Don't come any closer. I don't want you to get caught. See, they think you're broken and have to be scrapped, but I don't believe that. I can fix you if you'll let me. Probably should chose some different words there. Leo, you only fix broken things. You don't fix things that are completely fine. You've been like, let me help you, which you should have said. The dragon creaked, roared, and charred. The trap sprang. The floor of the crater erupted with a sound like 1,000 trash can lids banging together. Dirt and leaves flew metal net flashing. Leo was knocked off his feet, turned upside down, and doused in Tabasco sauce. He found himself sandwiched between the vat and the dragon as it thrashed, trying to free itself from the net that had wrapped around them both. The dragon blew flames in every direction, lighting up the sky and setting trees on fire. Oil and sauce burned all over them. It didn't hurt Leo, but left a nasty taste in his mouth. Will you stop that? He yelled. The dragon kept squirming. Hold on one second. Okay. Dragon ran into trap like an idiot. Cool. Sometimes my brain reads words and I have to reread them really quickly to make sure I understood what had happened. I do. Okay. Dragon kept squirming. Leo realized he would get crushed if he didn't move. It wasn't easy, but he managed to wriggle out from between the dragon and the vat. He squirmed his way through the net. Fortunately, the holes are plenty big enough for a skinny kid. He ran to the dragon's head and tried to snap him, but its teeth were tangled in the mesh. It blew fire again, but seemed to be running out of energy. This time, the flames were only orange. They sputtered before they even reached Leo's face. Listen, man, Leo said. You're just going to show them where you are. Then they'll come here and break out the acid and the metal cutters. Is that what you want? The dragon's jaw made a creaking sound like it was trying to talk. Okay then, Leo said. You'll have to trust me. And Leo set to work. It took him almost an hour to find the control panel. It was right behind the dragon's head, which made sense. He elected to keep the dragon in the net because it was easier to work with. The dragon constrained. The dragon didn't like it. Hold still, Leo scolded. The dragon made another creaking sound that might have been a whimper. Leo examined the wires of the dragon's head. He was distracted by a sound in the woods. When he looked up, it was just a tree spirit, a dryad. Leo thought they were called, putting out flames on her branches. Fortunately, the dragon hadn't started an all forest fire, but still the dryad wasn't too pleased. The girl's dress was smoking. She smothered the flames with a silky blanket, and when she saw Leo looking at her, she made a gesture that was probably very rude in dryad. Then she disappeared in a green poof of mist. Leo returned his attention to the wiring. It was ingenious, definitely, and it made sense to him. This was the motor control relay. This processed sensory input from the eyes. This disc. Ha! He said. Well, no wonder. Creak, the dragon asked with its jaw. You've got a corroded control disc. Probably regulates your higher reasoning circuits, right? Rusty brain, man. No wonder you're a little confused. He almost went crazy, but he caught himself. I wish I had a replacement disc, but this is a complicated piece of circuitry. I'm gonna have to take it out and clean it. Only a minute. He pulled up the disc, and the dragon went absolutely still. The glow died in its eyes. Leo slid off its back and began polishing the disc. He mopped up some oil and Tabasco sauce with his sleeves, which helped cut through the grime. But the more he cleaned, the more concerned he got. Some of the circuits were beyond repair. He could make it better, but not perfect. For that, he needed a completely new disc. He had no idea how to build one. He tried to work quickly. He wasn't sure how long the dragon's control disc could be off without damaging it, maybe forever, but he didn't want to take chances. Once he'd done the best he could, he climbed back up to the dragon's head and started cleaning the wiring and gearboxes, getting himself filthy in the process. Clean hands, dirty equipment, he muttered. Something his mother used to say. By the time he was through, his hands were black with grease, and his clothes looked like he just lost a mud wrestling contest, but the mechanisms looked a lot better. He slipped in the disc, connected the last wire, and sparks flew. The dragon shuddered. Its eyes began to glow. Better? Leo asked. Also, really quickly, you have to get to the next Jason chat, bro. I'm reading as fast as I can. Also, my book with me, reading along. You have to see it. But yes, we do have a Jason chapter after this. You're right. I'm excited because Jason stuff is really interesting. But really quickly, I wanted to ask you guys this. For the remaining ones who are still in the chat, obviously. Noah is one to try read streaming too, because he sees it's pretty fun. Because I keep telling him that it is. So he was wondering what book series that aren't Percy Jackson or Harry Potter, because he doesn't want to read Harry Potter, that you guys think would be a good read for him or be interesting to do on a read stream. I recommended Aragon or Game of Thrones. I don't know. But if you guys have any other recommendations that could possibly be thrown in the hat for possible Noah read streams, please let me know. I'd be appreciated, and I'll tell him about it. He slipped in the disc, connected the last wire, and sparks flew. The dragon shuddered. Its eyes began to glow. Better? Leo asked. The dragon made a sound like a high-speed drill. It opened its mouth, and all its teeth rotated. I guess that's a yes? Hold on, I'll free you. Another 30 minutes to find the release clamps for the net and untangle the dragon, but finally it stood and shook the last bit of netting off its back. It roared triumphantly and shot fire at the sky. Seriously? Leo said. Could you not show off? Creek? The dragon asked. You need a name, Leo said. I'm calling you Festus. Nice. The dragon whirred its teeth and grinned. At least Leo hoped it was a grin. Cool, Leo said. We still have a problem because you don't have wings. Festus tilted his head and snorted steam. Then he lowered his back in an unmistakable gesture. He wanted Leo to climb on. Where are we going? Leo asked, but he was too excited to wait for an answer. He climbed onto the dragon's back, and Festus bounded off into the woods. Leo lost track of time and all sense of direction. It seemed impossible. The woods could be so deep and wild. The dragon traveled until the trees were like skyscrapers, and the canopy leaves completely blotted out the stars. Even the fire in Leo's hand couldn't have lit the way, but the dragon's glowing red eyes acted like headlights. Finally, they crossed the stream and came to a dead end. A limestone cliff, 100 feet tall, a solid sheer mass the dragon couldn't possibly climb. For me, Hunger Games, Kingdom Keepers, or the Cruel Prince series, they're all bangers. Interesting. Haven't heard of any of those, but I will be sure to bring them to his attention. If you think of anything else for possible other future read streams that are non-Percy Jackson or Harry Potter, let me know. Actually, well, I know the Hunger Games, obviously. But he's already seen the Hunger Games. We both already seen the Hunger Games, so that one probably wouldn't be on that list. Because I'm pretty sure the movies are a decent adaptation. So finally, they crossed the stream and came to a dead end. A limestone cliff, 100 feet tall, a solid sheer mass the dragon couldn't possibly climb. Festus stopped at the base and lifted one leg like a dog, pointing. What is it? Leo slid to the ground. He walked up to the cliff, nothing but solid rock. The dragon kept pointing. It's not going to move up. It's not going to move out of your way, Leo told him. The loose wire on the dragon's neck sparked, but otherwise he stayed still. Leo put his hand on the cliff. Suddenly his fingers smoldered. Lines of fire spread across his fingertips, like igniting gunpowder, sizzling across the limestone. The burning lines raced across the cliff face until they had outlined a glowing red door 5 times as tall as Leo. He backed up, and the door swung open. Disturbingly silent. For such a big slab of rock. This is so sick. What the fuck? Secret door? A Beckendorf secret whatever the heck? Possibly? Perfectly balanced, as all things should be, he muttered. That's some first-rate engineering. The dragon unfroze and marched inside, as if he were coming home. Leo stepped through the door. And the door began to close. He had a moment of panic, remembering that night in the machine shop long ago. We'd been locked in. What if he got stuck in here? But then the lights flickered on, a combination of electric fluorescent and wall-mounted torches. When Leo saw the cavern, he forgot about leaving. Festus, he muttered. What is this place? The dragon stomped to the center of the room, leaving tracks in thick dust, and curled up on a large circular platform. The cave was the size of an airplane hangar, with the end less work tables and storage cages, rows of garage-sized doors along either wall. The staircases that led up to a network of catwalks high above. Equipment was everywhere. Hydraulic lifts, welding torches, hazards, freaking demigod bat cave? Okay. Hazard suits, air spades, forklifts, plus something that looked suspiciously like a nuclear reaction chamber. Bulletin boards were covered with tattered, faded blueprints and weapons, armor, shields, war supplies, all over the place. A lot of them only partially finished. Hanging from chains far above the dragon's platform was an old, tattered banner, almost too faded to read. The letters were Greek, but Leo somehow knew what they said. Bunker 9. That means 9 is in Festus' cabin, or 9 is in there were 8 others. Good idea. I was imagining it was just Festus, but there might be 8 bunkers in this, at least. Leo looked at Festus, still curled up on the platform, and it occurred to him that the dragon looked so content because it was home. It had probably been built on that pad. Do the other kids know? Leo's question died as he asked it. Clearly this place had been abandoned for decades. Cobwebs and dust covered everything. The floor revealed no footprints except for his, and the huge paw prints of the dragon. He was the first one in this bunker since a long time ago. Bunker 9 had been abandoned with a lot of projects half finished on the table, locked up and forgotten. But why? Leo looked at the map on the wall, a battle map of camp, but the paper was as cracked and yellow as onion skin. A date at the bottom read 1864. No way, he muttered. Long ass time ago. The galaxy far away. Then he spotted the blueprint on a nearby bulletin board, and his heart almost leaped out of his throat. He ran to the work table and stared up at a white line drawing almost faded beyond recognition. A Greek ship from several different... Sneeze? Are you going to do this, or are we playing games? What's happening? I guess we're not going to do this. A Greek ship from several different angles. Faintly scrawled words underneath it read, Prophecy, Unclear, Flight. It was the ship he'd seen in his dreams. The flying ship someone had tried to build. Someone had tried to build it here, or at least sketched out the idea. Then it was left, forgotten, a prophecy yet to come. And weirdest of all, the ship's figurehead was exactly like the one Leo had drawn when he was 5, head of a dragon. Looks like you, Festus, he murmured. Remember, that's creepy. The figurehead gave him an uneasy feeling, but Leo's mind spun with too many other questions to think about it for long. Festus is gonna die. That'd be sad. He touched the blueprint, hoping he could take it down to study, but the paper crackled at his touch, so he left it alone. He looked around for other clues. No boats, no pieces that looked like parts of this project, but there were so many doors and storerooms to explore. Festus snorted like he was trying to get Leo's attention, reminding him they didn't have all night. It was true. Leo figured it would be morning in a few hours, and he'd gotten completely sidetracked. He'd saved the dragon, but it wasn't going to help him on the quest. He needed something that would fly. Festus nudged him toward a leather tool belt that had been left next to his construction pad. Then the dragon switched on its glowing red eyes and turned them toward the ceiling. Leo looked up to where the spotlights were pointing and yelped when he recognized the shapes hanging above them in the darkness. Festus, he said in a small voice, we've got work to do. Ah! Oh! God. I'm so excited for this quest. This is like... I keep saying this, or something similar, but it's a lot less just straightforward than Percy Jackson is, because obviously it can't be. But it benefits from that in the best ways possible. Like, oh my God. Just how, like, come together-y the story feels. It feels like where Percy Jackson felt very plot focused and the characters were moved by the plot and lived in it beautifully, I might add. But this story feels very character focused, and it feels like the characters move the story forward, which I am really loving, which is great. Hunger Games, dystopian, and rise against the government. Kingdom Keepers, fantasy, kids turn into holograms and forced to save the Disney parks. What the fuck? Cruel Prince, I don't even know how to explain other than fantasy and amazing. Bunker 9, let's go. Interesting. I'll look up like the synopsis or something. First Jason chapter is short, but the next a banger. Okay. Yeah, I imagine it was these last 2 Jason chapters that she was gonna have me read. And we're already at 157. So we're about done with this here read stream. God, it's been a great section of chapters. Let me try this Coke. Okay. Home stretch. I'm excited except for this I get to read on my own. It's gonna be great because I'll blast that shit. Not blast, it'll probably be still a few days, but it will be like, it's just gonna be quicker, I guess, than reading on stream in some ways. It'll feel quicker for me, the actual reading process of it. I probably won't like be back really soon just because I have stuff to do, so I don't think I'll read every day. Like, I probably won't read till like Monday maybe, but we'll see. Sorry, I missed the whole Festus chapter, but yay, we met Festus. You're all good. You're all good, buddy. But we did indeed meet Festus. Yeah, this cover is getting cooler and cooler. For some reason, I feel like Leo's gonna get wings for this dragon. I don't know why, but I just have that feeling. Still not a great cover, because it's like, it looks very generic. Like, it looks very like, oh, generic fantasy. But yeah, it's getting more narratively rich, which I love. But regardless, let's move on. I don't think I have any other grand thoughts about it other than love Leo's backstory, obviously, but that was from the last chapter, and I'm loving Leo as a character. He's great. All these characters are so great. But anyways, who texted me? Okay, cool. Let's get to Jason. Jason dreamed of wolves. He stood in a clearing in the middle of a redwood forest. In front of him rose the ruins of a stone mansion. Low gray clouds blended with the ground fog. A cold rain hung in the air. A pack of large gray beasts milled around him. brushing against his legs, snarling and baring their teeth. They gently nudged him toward the ruins. Jason had no desire to become the world's largest dog biscuit, so he decided to do what they wanted. The group squelched under his boots as he walked, stone spires of chimneys, no longer attached to anything, rose up like totem poles. The house must have been enormous, multi-storied with massive log walls and a soaring gabled roof. But now nothing remained but its stone skeleton. Jason passed under a crumbling doorway and found himself in a kind of courtyard. Before him was a drained reflecting pool, long and rectangular. Jason couldn't tell how deep it was, because the bottom was filled with mist. A dirt path led all the way around, and the house's uneven walls rose on the either side. Wolves paced under the archways of rough red volcanic stone. At the far end of the pool sat a giant she-wolf, several feet taller than Jason. Her eyes glowed silver in the fog, and her coat was the same color as the rocks, warm, chocolatey red. "I know this place," Jason said. The wolf regarded him. She didn't exactly speak, but Jason could understand her. The movements of her ears and whiskers, the movements of her ears and whiskers, the flash of her eyes, the way she curled her lips, all of these were part of her language. "Of course," the wolf said. "You began your journey here as a pup. Now you must find your way back. A new quest, a new start." Okay. That's vague and interesting. No, if you don't get out of my chat, bro. No, if you don't get... That's freaking no. Get out of my chat, bro. Before I kick you. Look, how about you listen to Letter Bomb by Green Day? Great song. No, I'm asking these... I'm in here asking these nice people for reading ideas for you and shit. Fucking bitch. Get the fuck out of here. Do it, no balls. Hold on, can I actually do this? I've never tried to kick anybody before. What does this do? Channel activity, go to channel report, hide users from channel, add as a moderator. What if I remove? Do I just remove the message? Yeah, that just removes the message. Well, that didn't do anything. Let's try it again. Put user in timeout. 30 minutes. He's in timeout now. There he goes. That's good enough. Alright, anyways. This isn't fair, Jason said, but as soon as he spoke, he knew there was no point complaining to the she-wolf. Wolves didn't feel sympathy. They never expected fairness. The wolf... He's calling me. Hold on. I'm gonna put him on speaker. No way you're on speaker.
Bro, I can't believe you put me in timeout, bro.
Of course I put you in timeout. Of course I put you in timeout. You dared me. You dared me and I did it.
I know. I'm just messing with you.
Okay.
Hello, stream. I don't know if you can hear me, but hello.
The stream can definitely hear you.
They can?
Yeah, they can. You're on loudspeaker. My microphone is sensitive. So, yeah. But, gonna hang up on you now, because I got reading to do. Goodbye. Cool. Anyways. Where was I? Good. This isn't fair, Jason said, but as soon as he spoke, he knew there was no point complaining to the she-wolf. Wolves didn't feel sympathy. They never expected fairness. The wolf said, "Conquer or die. This is always our way." Jason wanted to protest that he couldn't conquer if he didn't know who he was or where he was supposed to go, but he knew this wolf. Her name was simply Lupa, the mother wolf, the greatest of her kind. Long ago, she'd found him in this place, protected him, nurtured him, chosen him. But if Jason showed weakness, she would tear him to shreds. Rather than being her pup, he would become her dinner. In the wolf pack, weakness was not an option. "Can you guide me?" Jason asked. Lupa made a rumbling noise in her deep in her throat. and the mist in the pool dissolved. At first, Jason wasn't sure what he was seeing. At opposite ends of the pool, two dark spires erupted from the cement floor like the drill bits of some massive tunneling machines. Boring through the surface, Jason couldn't tell if the spires were made of rock or petrified vines, but they were formed of thick tendrils that came together in a point at the top. Each spire was about 5 feet tall, but they weren't identical. The one closest to Jason was darker and seemed like a solid mass. Its tendrils fused together. As he watched, it pushed a little farther out of the earth and expanded a little wider. On Lupa's end of the pool, the second spire's tendril were more open, like the bars of a cage. Inside, Jason could vaguely see a misty figure struggling, shifting within its confines. Oof. Okay. Let me double check this because I want to make sure I fucking comprehend this right. Jason can tell us spires made of. So we've seen it. Okay, gotcha. Hera? Jason said. The she-wolf growled in agreement. The other wolves circled the pool, their fur standing up on their backs as they snarled at the spires. The enemy has chosen this place to awaken their most powerful son, the giant king. Lupa said, our sacred place, where demigods are claimed, the palace of death or life. The burned house, the house of the wolf, it is an abomination. You must stop her. Her? Jason said. You mean Hera? Then the she-wolf gnashed her teeth impatiently. Use your senses, pup. I care nothing for Juno, but if she falls, our enemy wakes. And that will be the end for us all. You know this place. You can find it again. Cleanse our house. Stop this before it is too late. The dark spire grew slowly larger, like the bulb of some horrible flower. Jason sensed that if it ever opened, it would release something he did not want to meet. Who am I? Jason asked the she-wolf. At least tell me that. Wolves don't have much of a sense of humor. Jason could tell the question amused Lupa, as if Jason were a cub, just trying out his claws, practicing to be the alpha male. You are our savior, Grace, as always. The she-wolf curled her lips as if she had just made a clever joke. Do not fail, son of Jupiter. Oof. If you didn't think that one was a banger, I'm confused. Because that one was a banger. Dude. I'm sure there was so much foreshadowing in that chapter that I did not miss, but I wonder what the wolf symbolizes. You guys are gonna have to when eventually I'm back. Welcome, Sans, just in time for the last chapter of the stream. Our saving grace. Let's go. Yes. I feel like it's an important line for you to mention it like that. But yeah, you guys have to tell me when I get to that part, just in case I don't recognize it myself, which I might. But if I don't, you guys have to remind me what exactly the wolf symbolizes, because I know it means something more than just it's a wolf. But yeah, tell me if I don't catch it. But yes, now it's time for the final chapter of the stream, and the final chapter before, for 12 more pages exactly, before I do a quick little page skip, and then we'll meet back, for 2:38. But till then, let's go. Jason woke to the sound of thunder. Then he remembered where he was. It was always thundering in cabin 1. Interesting. Above his cot, the domed ceiling was decorated with a blue and white mosaic, like a cloudy sky. The cloud tiles shifted across the ceiling, changing from white to black. Thunder rumbled through the room, and gold tiles flashed like veins of lightning, except for the cot that the other campers had brought him. The cabin had no regular furniture. It's because nobody lives there. No chairs, no tables or dresser. As far as Jason could tell, it didn't even have a bathroom. The walls were carved with alcoves, each holding a bronze brazier or a golden eagle statue on a marble pedestal. In the center of the room, a 20-foot tall, full-color statue of Zeus in classic Greek robes stood with a shield at his side and a lightning bolt raised, ready to smite. Of course, Zeus would have a statue of himself in his fucking, like, room. That's some Zeus shit. That's the most Zeus thing I've ever heard in my entire life. But yeah, anyways, what was I gonna say? Completely forgot. Shit, it was something about something cool too. Damn, what was I gonna say? Full color statue, Zeus in classic robes. I forgot. Damn, it was something important. I'm so mad at myself. I hate when that shit happens. Jason studied the statue, looking for anything he had. Oh, that's what I was gonna say. This actually wasn't that important. I was just gonna say that because Zeus is black in the series, and Thalia is black. You know who could play Jason in the Percy Jackson series in Heroes of Olympus? You ever I had some ideas, so if somebody could get in contact with Mr. Rick for me, tell him to holla at your boy, because I would just to save the role for me, holla at your boy, so I could play Jason in the Percy Jackson series. I know I'm a little older than the cast, but if I shave this off, I'll look young. Plus, by the time Walker and them get to that age, hiring some 15-year-old kids will be way different than looking at Walker and them, so you're gonna have to age up the rest of the cast. So just like, trust. I got you. Hire me for Jason. Anyways, moving on. Jason studied the statue, looking for anything he had in common with Lord of the Sky. Black hair? Nope. Grumbly expression? Well, maybe. Beard? No thanks. In his robes and sandals, he looked like a really buff, really angry hippie. Yeah, Cabin 1. A big honor. The other camper that told him, sure, if you like sleeping in a cold temple by yourself with hippie Zeus running down at you all night. Jason got up and rubbed his neck. His whole body was stiff from bad sleep and summoning lightning. That little trick last night hadn't been as easy as he had let on. It almost made him pass out. Next to the cot, new clothes were laid out for him. Jeans, sneakers, and an orange Camp Half-Blood shirt. He definitely needed to change of clothes. But looking down at his tattered purple shirt, he was wanting to change it. It felt wrong somehow. Putting on the camp shirt, he still couldn't believe he belonged here, despite everything they'd told him. I'd hate to be a child of Zeus. I would love to be a child of Zeus, because I could be in the Percy Jackson series, and that's what it's all about. Purple shirt is the other camp shirt, clearly. Something about that. He still couldn't believe he belonged here, despite everything they told him. He thought about his dream, hoping more enemies would come back to him about Lupa, or that ruined house in the woods. He knew he'd been there before. The wolf was real, but his head ached when he tried to remember the marks on his forearms. Seemed to burn. If he could find those ruins, he could find his past. Whatever was growing inside that rock spire. Jason had to stop it. He looked at hippie Zeus. You're welcome to help. The statue said nothing. Thanks, Pops, Jason muttered. He changed clothes and checked his reflection in Zeus's shield. His face looked watery and strange in the metal, like he was dissolving in a pool of gold. Definitely he didn't look as good as Piper had last night. It'd be weird if he thought that had last night after she'd suddenly been transformed. Jason still wasn't sure how he felt about that. He acted like an idiot, announcing in front of everyone that she was a knockout Well, not like there had been anything wrong with her before. Sure, she looked great after Aphrodite zapped her, but she also didn't look like herself, not comfortable with the attention. Jason felt bad for her. Maybe that was crazy, considering she'd just been claimed by a goddess and turned into the most gorgeous girl at camp. Everybody had started fawning over her, telling her how amazing she was and how obviously she should be the one who went on the quest. But that attention had nothing to do with who she was. New dress, new makeup, glowing pink aura, and boom, suddenly people liked her. Jason felt like he understood that. Having a pretty privileged lesson we see here, Rook. Bites nails impatiently. Interesting. God, what's about to happen? You get cabin 7, your gas was chapter up. This freaking shit might better go crazy, bro. Last night when he'd called down the lightning, the other camper's reactions had seemed familiar to him. He was pretty sure he'd been dealing with that for a long time. People looking at him in awe just because he was the son of Zeus, treating him special, but it didn't have anything to do with him. Nobody cared about him. Just his big, scary daddy standing behind him, the Doomsday Bolt. We're to say, respect this kid or eat voltage. Theory time. It is theory time. Jason's memories are gone, right? Presumably Percy's memories are gone too. They both don't know where they are. They both are like missing, missing, because he's probably missing from his other camp, right? Theory time. What if Jason is the Percy of the other camp, and the other camp is looking for Jason, and he is like, he's their Percy, and right now while Jason's at this camp, Percy's at the other camp, and they're like finding out about the other camp, and in the same way, and they're like, whoa, he's the son of Neptune type thing. Like, and they're having this whole thing, and Jason's like the secret badass of the other camp, that he's had this whole story that we haven't been able to see, and they're looking for Jason, he's looking for Percy, but they don't know, they're looking for each other, and then they'll regain their memories, and they'll be like, dang, and then they remember, dang, we're both badasses, and then they'll be like twin protags. Anyways, theory time over. If that doesn't happen though, missed opportunities, Mr. Riordan, because that'd be sick as fuck. Obviously don't tell me if it happens or if it doesn't, but I'm pretty confident that I'm right for some reason. You should be on a game show with these predictions. Why? Well, why a game show? What? I don't get it. Anyways. What was I? Oh yeah, okay, cool. Dang. After the campfire, when people started heading back to their cabins, Jason had gone up to Piper and formally asked her to come with him on the quest. She'd still been in a state of shock, but she nodded, rubbing her arms, which must have been cold in the sleeveless dress. Aphrodite took my snowboarding jacket. She muttered, mugged by my own mom. In the first row of the amphitheater, Jason found a blanket and wrapped it around her shoulders. We'll get you a new jacket, he promised. She managed to smile. He wanted to wrap his arms around her, but he restrained himself. He didn't want her to think he was as shallow as everyone else. He wanted to make a move on her because she turned all beautiful. He was glad Piper was going with him on the quest. Jason had tried to act brave at the campfire, but it was just that, an act. The idea of going up against an evil force powerful enough to kidnap Hera scared him witless, especially since he didn't even know his own past. He needed to help, and it felt right. Piper should be with him, but things were already complicated without figuring out how much she liked her and why. He'd already messed with her head enough. He slipped on his new shoes, ready to get out of that cold empty cabin. Then he spotted something he hadn't noticed that night before. A brazier had moved out of one of the alcoves, creating a sleeping niche with a bedroll, a backpack, even some pictures taped to the wall. Jason walked over. Whoever had slept there, it had been a long time ago. My girl Thalia. Thalia reference, obviously. Where was it? Yeah. The bedroom smelled musty. The backpack was covered with thin film of dust. Some of the photos, once taped to the wall, had lost their stickiness and fallen to the floor. One picture showed Annabeth, much younger, maybe 8. Maybe, but Jason could tell it was she. Same blonde hair and gray eyes. I mean, black hair and brown eyes. And black skin, of course. Same distracted look, like she was thinking a million things at once. She stood next to a sandy-haired guy, about 14 or 15, with a mischievous smile and ragged leather armor over a t-shirt. He was pointing to an alley behind them, like he was telling the photographer, let's go meet things in a dark alley and kill them. A second photo showed Annabeth and the same guy sitting at a campfire laughing hysterically. Finally, Jason picked up one of the photos that had fallen. It was a strip of pictures like you take in a do-it-yourself photo booth. Annabeth and the sandy-haired guy, both with another girl between them. She was maybe 15, with black hair, choppy like Piper's, a black leather jacket, and silver jewelry. So she looked kind of goth, but she was caught mid-laugh, and it was clear that she was with her 2 best friends. "That's Thalia," someone said. "Oh, give her the business, Thalia Grace, my girl." Love Thalia, top best trio in Percy Jackson, Thalia, Percy, and Nico. I wish we had more Thalia in the series, which kind of makes me sad that they introduced a second kid of Zeus or Jupiter or whatever it is. But still, I think it's cool. I would like to see more Thalia, and I really hope. I'm sure we will see more Thalia before the end of the series. But yeah. Jason turned. Annabeth was peering over his shoulder. Her expression was sad, like the picture brought back hard memories. She's the other child of Zeus who lived here, but not for long. "Sorry, I should have knocked." "It's fine," Jason said. "Not like I think of this place as home." Annabeth was dressed for travel, with a winter coat over her camp clothes, her knife at her belt, and a backpack across her shoulder. Jason said, "Don't suppose you've changed your mind about coming with us?" She shook her head. You've got a good team already. I'm off to look for Percy." You know, with the weird special powers. Jason was a little disappointed. He would have appreciated having somebody on the trip who knew what they were doing. Yeah, that's not how this works. We don't really typically know what we're doing here. We usually kind of wing it. So, yeah, he's new to it. He'll figure it out. We wing things here. Disappointed. He would have appreciated having somebody on the team who knew what they were doing. Yeah, so he wouldn't feel like he was leading Piper and Leo off a cliff. "Hey, you'll do fine, I promise. Something telling me this isn't your first quest." "Something telling me this isn't your first quest? Come on. Come. Don't tell me, but you know I'm right. Come on. I can just feel it. Oof, if I'm right, you all owe me $5. Hold on. Shit, I'm so late. Hey, Anthony. Welcome in. You made it. Last chapter of the night. Yep. It's almost there. Okay. Anyways. Jason had a vague suspicion she was right. Don't nobody say nothing to me. This doesn't confirm it. Don't tell me until it's confirmed. But I'm telling you, you know I'm right. You're looking at me like, this guy, he's so cool and smart. He always gets his predictions right. I know that's exactly what you're thinking. Anyways, Jason had a vague suspicion she was right, but that didn't make him feel any better. Everyone seemed to think he was so brave and confident, but they didn't see how lost he really felt. How could they trust him when he didn't even know who he was? He looked at the pictures of Annabeth smiling. He wondered how long it had been since she'd smiled. She must really like this Percy guy to search for him so hard, and that made Jason a little envious. Was anyone searching for him right now? What if somebody cared for him? The foreshadowing. Come on with it, Rick. The foreshadowing. Me and Rick are on that fucking Wi-Fi, bitch. That fucking Wi-Fi. He knows what I'm talking about, baby. How did you all make it this far without my riveting commentary, such as insentient jokes and extremely long run-on sentences? Anthony, I'm gonna be honest, it was a struggle. But you're here now. Everything's okay. Anyways. What if somebody cared for him that much? And was going out of out of her mind with worry, and he couldn't even remember his old life. You know who I am. You know who I am, he guessed, don't you? Annabeth gripped the hilt of her dagger. She looked for a chair to sit on, but of course, there wasn't any. Honestly, Jason, I'm not sure. My best guess, you're a loner. It happens sometimes, for one reason or another. The camp never found you, but you survived anyway, by constantly moving around. Trained yourself to fight, handled monsters on your own. You beat the odds. Fucking lying. She's lying out of her ass right now. The first thing Chiron said to me, Jason remembered, was, "You should be dead." That could be why, Annabeth said. Most demigods would never make it on their own. Lying. Maybe not lying, actually, because I don't know. I'm gonna stick with the idea that I'm right, though, because I like that. I like that idea. The child of Zeus. I mean, it doesn't get any more dangerous than that. As a child of Zeus, it doesn't get any more dangerous than that. The chances of your reaching 15 without finding Camp Half-Blood or dying microscopic. Come on, he has to be. They're telling you. They're giving you the clues right here. They're giving you the pieces of this. Anyways, but like I said, it does happen. Dahlia ran away when she was young. She survived on her own for years. Even took care of me for a while. So maybe you were a loner too. Jason held out his arm. And these marks? Annabeth glanced at the tattoos. Clearly they bothered her. Well, the eagle is the symbol of Zeus, so that makes sense. The 12 lines, maybe they stand for years? If you'd been making them since you were 3 years old. SPQR. That's the motto of the old Roman Empire. Senates Populusque Romanes. The Senate and the people of Rome. Though why you would burn that on your own arm, I don't know. Unless you had a really harsh Latin teacher. Jason was pretty sure that wasn't the reason. It also didn't seem possible he'd been on his own his whole life. Talk to him then, Rick. Talk to him. Take him to church, Rick. But what else made sense? Annabeth had been pretty clear. Camp Half-Blood was the only safe place in the world for demigods. Lying. I had a weird dream last night. That it seemed like a stupid thing to confide, but Annabeth didn't look surprised. Happens all the time to demigods, she said. What did you see? He told her about the wolves and the ruined house and the two rock spires. As he talked, Annabeth started pacing, looking more and more agitated. You don't remember where this house is? She asked. Jason shook his head. But I'm sure I've been there before. Redwoods, she mused. Could be. Well, what time is it? Damn, 9:37. Okay. Well. Could be Northern California and the she-wolf. I've studied goddess spirits and monsters my whole life. I've never heard of a lupa. She said the enemy was a her. I thought maybe it was Hera, but I wouldn't trust Hera, but I don't think she's the enemy. And that thing rising out of the earth, Annabeth's expression darkened. You've got to stop it. You know what it is, don't you? He asked. Or at least you've got to guess. I saw your face last night at the campfire. You looked at Chiron. It was suddenly dawning on you that you didn't want to scare us. Nose, can you stop itching, bro? Annabeth hesitated. Jason, the thing about prophecies, the more you know, the more you try to change them. And that can be, the more you know, the more you try to change them. And that can be disastrous. Chiron believes it's better that you find your own path and find out things in your own time. If he'd told me everything he knew before my first quest with Percy, I've got to admit, I'm not sure I would have been able to go through with it. For your quest, that's even more important. That bad, huh? Not if you succeed, at least. I hope not. Well, but I don't even know where to start. Where am I supposed to go? Follow the monsters, Annabeth suggested. Jason thought about that. The storm spirit who attacked him at the Grand Canyon had said he was being recalled to his boss. Jason could track the storm spirits. He might be able to find the person controlling them, and maybe that would lead him to Hera's prison. Okay, he said. How do I find storm winds? Personally, I'd ask a wind god, Annabeth said. Aeolus is the master of all winds, but he's a little unpredictable. No one finds him unless he wants to be found. I tried one of the 4 seasonal wind gods that worked for Aeolus. The nearest one, your nose, can you stop itching, bro? Yes, sir. And nearest one, the one who has the most dealings with heroes, is Boreas, the North Wind. So if I looked him up on Google Maps, oh, he's not hard to find, I promise. He settled in North America like all the other gods, so of course he'd pick the oldest northern settlement about as far north as you can go. Maine? Jason guessed farther. Jason tried to envision a map. What was even farther north than Maine? The oldest northern settlement, Canada, he declared? Quebec? Annabeth smiled. I hope you speak French. Jason actually felt a spark of excitement. Quebec. At least now he had a goal. Find the North Wind, track down the storm spirits, find out who they worked for and where that ruined house was. Free Hera, all in 4 days. Cake. Thanks, Annabeth. He looked at the photo booth pictures, still in his hand. So, you said it was dangerous, being a child of Zeus. What happened to Thalia? Oh, she's fine. Oh, she's chilling. She's chilling. Annabeth said she became a hunter of Artemis. That's what it's gonna say. But, hold on. I don't know, it's kind of confusing to me because Annabeth said, like, she can't help. That she talked to him about. Well, she said she can't tell him about the prophecy. Not that she couldn't help with the quest. So I guess it's fine. But she did tell him about the... What does she mean by if Chiron told her everything that would happen before her first quest with Percy? Did he know? I don't think Chiron knew the Great Prophecy. Well, I think he knew, but he did tell Annabeth, though. But did he tell her... He only told her after the Sea of Monsters, right? I don't know. That's kind of confusing to me, but whatever. She became a hunter of Artemis, one of the handmaidens of the goddess. They roam around the country killing monsters. They don't see them at camp very often. Let me catch the chat real quick too. Because we enjoy to see new readers read our favorite books. Oh, okay. Bro, I seriously took a nap and set an alarm for 2 hours ago. But I will just rewatch the stream after you finish. Alright. Fair enough. Well, at least you're here for the last bit with us. Where was I? Jason glanced over at the huge statue of Zeus. He understood why Thalia had slept in this alcove. It was the only place in the cabin not in Hippie Zeus's line of sight, and even that hadn't been enough. She chose to follow Artemis and be part of the group rather than stay in the cold, drafty temple, along with her 20-foot-tall dad, Jason's dad, glowering down at him. Eat voltage! Jason didn't have any trouble understanding Thalia's feelings. He wondered if there was a Hunters or Artemis group for guys. Who's the other kid in the photo, he asked. The sandy-haired guy. Annabeth's expression tightened. Touchy subject. That's Luke, she said. He's dead now. He's also super evil, but whatever. Jason decided it was best not to ask more, but the way Annabeth said Luke's name, he wondered if maybe Percy Jackson wasn't the only boy Annabeth had ever liked. He focused again on Thalia's face. He kept thinking this photo of her was important. He was missing something. He was about the strange sense of connection to this other child of Zeus. Someone who might understand his confusion. Maybe even answer some questions. But another voice inside of him, as insistent, said, "Dangerous. Stay away." How old is she now? He asked. Hard to say. She was a tree for a while. Now she's immortal. What? That's fucking funny. His expression must have been pretty good because Annabeth laughed. Don't worry, it's not something all children of Zeus go through. It's a long story. Well, she was out of commission for a long time. If she'd age regularly, she'd be in her 20s now. But she still looks the same as in that picture. Like she's about your age, 15 or 16. Something the she-wolf had said in his dream nagged at Jason. He found himself asking, what's her last name? Annabeth looked uneasy. She didn't use a last name, really. If she had to, she'd use her mom's. But they didn't get along. Thalia ran away when she was pretty young. Jason waited. Grace, Annabeth said. Thalia, Grace. Jason's fingers went numb. The picture flooded to the floor. You okay? Annabeth asked. A shed of memory had ignited. Maybe a tiny piece that Hera had forgotten to steal. Or maybe she'd left it there on purpose. Just enough for him to remember that name. and know that digging up his past was terribly, terribly dangerous. You should be dead, Chiron said. It wasn't the comment about Jason being the odds loner. Chiron knew something specific, something about Jason's family. The she-wolf's words in his dream finally made sense to him, her clever joke at his expense. He could imagine Lupa growling a wolfish laugh. What is it? Annabeth pressed. Jason couldn't keep this to himself. It would kill him. It would kill him, and he had to get Annabeth's help. If she knew Thalia, maybe she could advise him. You have to swear not to tell anyone else, he said. Jason, swear it, he urged, until I figure out what's going on, what this all means. I'm fucking on the edge of my seat, Rick. Freaking Jesus Christ. He rubbed the burn tattoos on his forearm. You have to keep a secret. Annabeth hesitated, but her curiosity won out. All right, until you tell me it's okay. I won't share what you say with anyone. I swear on whatever sticks. Thunder rumbled, even louder than usual for the cabin. You are our saving Our saving grace, the wolf had snarled. Jason picked up the photo from the floor. My last name is Grace, he said. This is my sister. Annabeth turned pale. Jason could see her wrestling with dismay, disbelief, anger. She thought he was lying. His claim was impossible, and part of him felt the same way. But as soon as he spoke the words, he knew they were true, and the doors of the cabin burst open. Half a dozen campers filled in, led by a bald guy from Iris, Butch. Hurry, he said, and Jason couldn't tell if his expression was excitement or fear. The dragon is back. Y'all get the fuck out of this chat right now. Y'all get the fuck out of this chat right now. I have to go read. What? Hold on. What have you guys been saying? Chiron is immortal, so I guess he could just tell what was going to happen. This person seems to copy mythology. Chiron just knows what's happening. Whoa! Luke unlocked her status like 5 seconds before dying. He was on his Darth Vader timing. This is true. It's probably the longest setup to a quest in the entire series. Really? Well, it's great. The Grace fucking siblings, bro. Oh my god. You've got to be absolutely joking, man. The Grace siblings? Oh, that's so hard. Jesus Christ. Oh, Jason Grace? That's cool. That's really cool. I mean, they were siblings regardless, right? So it's technically a half reveal, but it's a full reveal because they're full siblings. So, shit. Yeah, I can only imagine that this is the longest quest setup because I'm imagining also this is the big setup because they have to set up the reveal exactly. They have to set up all these characters for the series as a whole, as well as this quest, as well as the overarching story. I imagine that's all being done in these first 172 chapters, 172 pages. Like, bro, if this was any other Percy book, I'd be halfway through the story right now. But told you, yeah, you did. No, you did. I can't deny that. You definitely did. But freaking, this everything that's been set up so far is like this adventure's about to go. This adventure's about to go hard. This adventure's about to go so hard. And I imagine the quest starts almost immediately after this chapter, like two chapters at least after this chapter. Yeah, Thalia having a long lost brother that she never talked about is a serious soap opera twist. No, it 100% is. But it makes sense for Thalia's character because she doesn't talk about anything. She's not one to hold on. She's not one to just give away her secret. She's very emo like that. So Um, but yeah, so hold on. But regardless, it is really cool. Um, so freaking, oh my god, I love this setup. I really do, because cause I'm not saddened by it. It's not like boring me. It's not really annoying. I'm not like get to the quest, because everything is not only introducing me these characters, is deepening the lore of the world, creating more world building, making these characters interesting, setting them up for interesting stories, tying them back to things that we already know, and making it interesting for me as a reader. So it's tying them into the world and everything. And so now that I know these characters fully, these new characters that are very important, and how they tie into the world, how they fit into everything, and they're setting up this quest at large, now I'm like really connected to them. Like I really like these characters that I didn't really like give a shit about at the beginning of this book, obviously, because I didn't know them. Now I'm like, okay, now I'm invested in you. I'm invested in your personality, everything about you. So like that is just that's just makes me really excited to go on this eventual quest. Hold on. Well, they had to introduce 3 new characters, and they have all been rejected, so the Yep is bound to be along this format. Let's be honest, how much did we really believe Zeus had only had 1 kid? This is fair. I gotta go. Happy reading, happy Thanksgiving, and have a great night. Thank you, Cabin 7, for joining. We're about to end the stream anyway, so appreciate you being here. Have a nice night. They're surprised that Jason is Thalia's full brother. No facts. Zeus had sex with the same woman, but you know, I don't disbelieve it. Like, yeah, I was like, yeah, it makes sense. Zeus would break the pack more than once. 100%. 100%. That's super believable. Really, yeah. No doubt about my mind. But yeah, so just they're all tied in so perfectly. So I'm not like sad about these new characters. Like I could kind of understand how someone coming in, reading Percy Jackson, Heroes of Olympus, and like and expecting to see Percy and then getting all these new characters and being Percy-less, would be a little bit disappointed and a little bit shocked. But I couldn't see after reading these 200 chapters, they'd be like, they'd be excited to go on this adventure, you know, with them. So that's just, yeah. And I'm excited to get back to you guys after I read these next 100 chapters, because I'm sure some more amazing things will happen. Not even 100. It's like I have 60 pages to read on my own. 172 to 238. That's like 172 minus 238 minus 172. Yeah, 66 pages to read on my own. So I'm assuming some crazy stuff will happen. I'll have to talk to you with you guys, and I'll check. It's like, and you said no, yeah, 278, 238, 278, right? Hold on, I'm checking. 228. Okay. Then the 40 pages, so one. Okay, cool. Yeah. This is, you know, we balling. Cool. Yeah. So 66 pages. Then we'll get back. 40 page read stream. 228. Dope. And then 328. And then 269. Then we'll read on. Cool. Got you. I'm with it. But yeah. All right. This was a very exciting stream. I'm very excited to see where this story goes, and I am thinking this might actually end up being better than the first Percy series, which it's not hard to top per se because it's a build-up, but it's just kind of like, yeah, I really enjoyed the first series so much, and it was a lot of fun, especially the latter later 3 books. So if those books top it, then I'll enjoy it a lot. Okay, Matt, good night. Hopefully I won't be late next time. Yeah, also my fault. I snuck in the stream a little bit 2 hours early, so you're all good. I kind of shockingly pranked you guys, but I had time earlier than I thought, so I was like, why not get the stream out of the way early? But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and call it a night. Thank you everybody for joining. As always, it was a pleasure meeting with you guys, and I'll see you once I'm at page 228. Have a good night, guys, and to stream. Bye.